All right, hey black women. So this video is for only dark-skinned women, right? I was watching a video of Chrissy's, right? I don't know how many of you know Chrissy's videos on YouTube, which I think all dark-skinned women should subscribe to Chrissy. Get the positive reinforcement that she gives you about any personal inferiorities or personal complexes you might have about your color, your desirability, because of all of these things that are talking down on dark-skinned women every day online by black males and light-skinned women and other women. I'm speaking facts. I'm not speaking division. All right. It is getting cold now. All right. Black women who are dark and who are brown, okay, and who are not preferred by black males who come online and talk about how, it is nothing for them to say they don't like black women, they like everybody else but us, and then talk about how horrible we are as people. However, lately there has been a huge crashing out by these black males because it's getting cold outside. Okay? So this is their handcuffing season, and normally when they think to abuse and take advantage of black women and treat them like doormats, they usually look for brown and dark-skinned women, mostly those that show lack of self-esteem, lack of self-interest, over interest in worshiping and concern and centering of black males to take advantage of. And we have currently seen this in the desperation of the two black women that came on this app. And one literally spoke to us about how she had a sexual friendship with some broke bum-ass dude. Invited that dude to live with her in her home with her two children, a 4-year-old and an 8-year-old. And this guy ended up coming in her house, physically beating the hell out of her, and almost bit her finger off. And the only way she got him out of her home, according to her story, which she told on TikTok, was to call the police and have him physically removed from her home. Example A, or Exhibit A. Then we have the second example, which was the ridiculous woman that came on here talking about how she invited some dude back to her home, which is the stupidest shit to do. Stop bringing these possible murderers and rapists into your home. What is wrong with y'all? She brought him home and she supposedly asked another friend to come over, and this friend never showed up, if y'all recall the story, right? She had a small dog. I think it was a corgi, right? When the man found out he couldn't have sex with her, he asked if he could have sex with the corgi. You got to be careful of these dudes. And for us dog lovers out there, when you see a lot of these guys with female dogs, pay attention to their interactions with those dogs. And if you feel you have to call animal care and control, please do. Please do. Because they really are having fornication with female dogs, because female dogs have vaginas, okay? And so a lot of these dudes are doing very despicable things with animals. If you get the feeling, it ain't gonna hurt to drop a phone call, explain what's going on, give them the information so they could come check it out. Because you never know, you might be really saving that animal. Okay? Please do that. The other thing is, now see me, I look for all this type of stuff because I scour this throughout the internet on these apps, because I hate when people are fake, right? And a lot of them are. So I noticed that whenever you have, and this is the psychology and the psychological effects of black people from slavery, where they allowed all of that separation and divide, the colorism, ageism, texturism, featureism, to become literally a part of their psyche and a part of who they are. So whenever you see a lot of the content creators who are usually light-skinned, they all have this same, what people perceive to be attractive aesthetic, and they all tend to put this aesthetic out there. I noticed that they never really big up or add or advocate for darker skinned content creators, right? For the most part. because I actually was watching a video of Cerebral today, right? And she's on YouTube. Now, people have said she's very attractive, whatever. I don't see it, right? However, she to me has said and done many colorist things in her videos in the past. And she also was a type of creator that denied racism and different things, and the disparity and the implicit bias that is usually given to brown skin and darker women from lighter black women, right? All right, the whole thing with the shit where they don't, in Miami, they don't want the darker women in the club. They want other people, all that stuff, right? When she gave her opinions on a lot of that stuff, a lot of shit she said wasn't on the mark, and it came from like a colorist stance. Then I noticed though today, when I was looking on her channel, she happened to be talking about, and I don't know why y'all wasting your time talking about Taylor Swift. Fuck that boring ass, whack ass white girl. Oh my God. Who's only upset because she's never going to be able to live down the fact that her man was busting cheeks with a black woman that she could never be as fine as. And that's really what's fucking with her, all of her homies, her fans, and that woman still dancing through that white man's mind. So, but anyway, she did a video on her. And I saw she had a clip of Liz on there. And I watch Liz all the time. So Coach Liz, and I said, it's funny how I see many people do takes on this. But I said she had to go out of her way to find another light-skinned woman to, put the clip in. And if you notice, like on her clip, and I'm bringing this up for a reason because this happens a lot. And this plays with the fact that darker-skinned women always see this alienation of us, even among our own women, and the fact that we are always like the last thought, the last option. I'm making this video to explain to you that when you identifiably see people doing these things, stop giving them your support. And I mean that for everything and everybody. It's not just particularly her I'm talking about right now. I just happened to see her do it today, and I was listening to what Chrissy was saying, got a little riled up. And I came on here to talk about it because I noticed that everybody on these platforms, and people in this world, period, they always want to identify the brown or darker skinned black woman, as the world's mule, the world's beast of burden. And we're not. We're not. And we don't even get any slack or preferential treatment from our lighter skinned black women. And it's just annoying from time to time. So I'm bringing all this to you because as it gets colder and times in this country get harder because of this idiotic president, the racism he wants to invoke, because he really thinks that black people are going to be taken back to slavery. He has no idea the amount of hellfire we will bring to this earth. But anyway, this is all the shit that we have to deal with. So in dealing with that, darker skinned black women also have to deal with all of the triangulations of people hating on us just because we are who we are, and that we are not melaninly pleasing to them, right? You have to deal with the fact that you have black women that feel like they're better than you because they're lighter. They want to use you as the last option. So that is an issue you have to deal with. Then you have to worry about, now you don't have to worry, but these are all just extenuating factors in the same stupid shit, right? That is always directed towards us just because we're darker. Then you have the dudes that feel like if they can't get anybody else, they're entitled to and definitely should be able to get the brown and darker black women, because who wants them ugly bitches? They're dark, they're black, nobody wants them, right? So when they can't get us, or when black women get to the point where they understand, like what Chrissy always says, one of her phrases is positive promotion, right? And when we feel like, no, we're entitled to put our fucking hat in the game and be just like everybody else and show that our shit is just as fly as everybody else, or maybe better, they get upset because when we feel good about ourselves, we're not that easily used and taken advantage of. And I noticed that whenever we see these videos of black women who have allowed these dudes to come in their homes and they've done terrible things to their children, they've beat these women up, they've stolen from these women, they've taken these women's lives, even though it does happen to all black women of all melanin shades. But the majority of us who are laying 6 feet under and lying stretched out cold on them slabs in the coroner's office, a lot of them are my complexion or darker or a little bit lighter, right? So we want to, as dark-skinned women and brown-skinned women, do exactly what Chrissy says and begin this massive campaign of positive promotion for our image, not only in life, but on the social media streets and everywhere else. Because we should be able to have the same type of label hung above our head, like light-skinned women, mixed women, Asian women, white women, Hispanic women. We fine as fuck too. And most times we are finer or finest. So we need to be out here promoting ourselves just as well, you know? And I need my dark skin and brown skin sisters to understand that. This is October. These dudes, wherever they were staying, whoever's couch they were sleeping on during the summer and the beginning of fall into winter, they got to get the fuck out now. Because, see, now bills are going to go up. It's going to cost more to heat the house. The lights are going to cost more. Food costs more because in the summertime, people don't eat as much. They stay outside more. And these companies that provide us these services, they know this shit. And so they've raised stuff up in the winter. And when you have somebody freeloading off of you, you don't want them there anymore. So they have to go. So now these very dudes, they begin to hunt, that handcuffing hunt, right? For women who are showing that they have low self-esteem and that they are like fiending for attention from a man or to have an involvement or relationship with a man. And that leads to all of the problems, the horror stories we read about when we hear about little girls being violated, teenage girls being violated and their lives being taken, the moms being taken out of this world, being beat so viciously. This is the result of that. So from one dark-skinned woman to the brown-skinned and other dark-skinned women, we can avoid that and we can start turning on a different level of mentality and self-esteem for ourselves by eliminating flocking to or being a part of places where we have no positive representation or positive imaging. So if you have a favorite content creator and all that's on her channel is other light-skinned women with the same aesthetic and there is no variety of black women, back off. If you around other content creators and their conversation is always talking about how horrible black women are and how we're just the worst mothers, you know, all that red pill talk shit, right? But the images that they always put up, like Anton Daniels, where it's always a black woman that looks very similar to me, unsubscribe. Hit the block button. Stay away from all of that. Because believe it or not, it is psychologically damaging you. It is killing your self-worth, and it is making you downtrodden to the point where you will allow any and everything to happen to you because you feel like you're nothing. And this is the reason why when Chrissy first came on the scene, and she was very active with her Dark Skin Girl magazine, and then came with her channel to boost the self-esteem, the positive imaging, the positive promotion of black women, she was attacked by everybody. Because in this country, we have always been taught that we need a fall guy, a black sheep, so to speak, of the family. And this whole country has deemed dark-skinned black women to be that black sheep. But we're not. And so the more that we hold ourselves in esteem and do not fall for anything and make our own demands on who and what interacts with us, and the value we give to ourselves is so high it's out of this fucking world, right? Things change. And even if they don't change with other people, they change with you, which is the most important, because now you will not be the person targeted for abuse more than anyone else. And that is literally how black, dark-skinned, and brown-skinned women live in this world, in the black community and the extenuating circumstances and situations and incidents in life that surround us in the proximity to where we are every day of our lives. Like when we're at work, people tend to think that we're the ones that's supposed to run out, get the coffee, do this, do that, do all this extra shit that we don't get paid for. Indentured servitude, you know? But they try to make it a voluntary thing to make it seem like it's something you're doing to show civility towards others, when it's not. So when you start thinking like this and you find yourself exercising, this is a form of like self-preservation and protection. As you increase your self-esteem and your self-worth and your self-confidence, and you pull away from these people, you do two things at one time. You create a variety within the content creators that we have access to. You also begin, the second thing, which is the most important thing, is you begin to level the playing fields, and you get to allow brown skin and darker black women to put their helmets on and get in the game of beauty and beauty politics and all this stupid talk about what was that, pretty privilege and pretty preference. You also get to walk into the ring and shake your tail feather and show just how dazzling you are, and you get to do, you know, the strut and everything else, like, you know, the male birds do, to show the women that, to show the female birds that they are, you know, a viable mate. You get to do the same thing. You get to strut yourself, your stuff as well. So I hope this helps, but I just wanted to you know, talk about this, because when I say these things because I think about some of the harsh things that were said to me as a beautiful, exotically beautiful dark-skinned girl, as a young woman and little girl. And I think about the other little black girls that may have the black curly hair and the slanted eyes and the high cheekbones and the not so broad of nose and not so thick of lips, that are out there listening to people calling them hideous when they are some of the most exotically beautiful little things walking around, you know. And I say that to make them feel good, because it is very harmful the way I see mothers and black people and fathers and family members and just teachers and etc. talking to little dark-skinned black girls like they really are lower than low. So if we as moms and the other women in the dark-skinned, brown-skinned women crew begin to hold ourselves in so much of a higher self-esteem and just esteem, period, right? That sort of like trickle down and has a trickle down effect to our little girls that look up to us and other black women that they may idolize that resemble them. I'll tell you, when I was a little girl, I was probably like less than 10. There weren't many black people on TV when I used to watch television, and my television used to be in black and white before we got color TV, right? The first black woman I used to see on television was Diahann Carroll. She used to be in a show called Julia, where she was the first professional black woman I ever saw in my life, of my family and everything else. She was a nurse that worked in a huge general hospital in a major metropolitan city in this show. She was a single mom with a little son, a little boy named Corey. And once a week, every week, I saw Diahann Carroll, who played Julia, be this fiercely independent brown woman like me, and at the time little girl, that I looked up to with my big brown eyes and thought, wow, when I grow up I can be like that too, right? And so I say these things to you so that you understand where I'm coming from, and you have that necessary connection where you get that this is not about being divisive and trying to make it seem like, oh, there's another dark-skinned woman complaining again. No. This is about the mental health of our fellow sisters who are often targeted to be treated like they are subhuman, and the little black girls that are often in those same households with those sisters. And those moms who sometimes do not remember that they are literally worth more than gold. And the things they do in life will affect their little brown girls if they don't do the right things. And when you bring crazy dudes in your home that terrorize your children and beat the hell out of you in front of them, or ask you to have sex, and if you're not willing, want to do it with your animal in the household, it makes me understand that these type of messages that I'm giving today are well needed. Because if we had a better, healthy, collective sense of self, we would not be sharing those stories or even participating in those type of situations and decisions in life. All right, you got to understand that there's really something wrong with those two women that came on here, and I know there are more like her. Okay, and let me tell you the reason why I know there are more like her. Chrissy, when you go watch Chrissy's video, right, Chrissy is debunking a video, one of these red pill, black women hating, but black male worshiping, really bad looking black women always come online and do, which is to try to serve up to the altar of dangerous and ignorant and I'm not gonna say that word, disgusting fucking black males, serve those women up to them. Okay, so they come on to try to further tear down the self-esteem, the confidence, and the self-worth of those black women, because they always try to bash those women for trying to change their lives by dating out with white men, and their conversations are always about something derogatory, where black women seek other men, and they always focus on white men, black women connections. And they do that because they want to shame and make black women feel like your place is only with abusive black men who want you to live in poverty and live in struggle love. When you see that video, you'll get more of a detailed understanding of everything Chrissy is talking about. It's her theory, so I cannot explain it as well as she can. The only thing I know is that it would never fucking be me, okay? Never. There would never be no bum-ass dude, black dude, darkening my door, living in my house, or touching my body ever, because I don't play those fucking games. I see that they are really not worth anything, and I don't fuck around with them. I don't like arguing or fucking around with them. I just want to tell them, get the fuck away from me as quickly as possible, because I have a real small fuse for fucking with y'all. That's how I feel. But I know every black woman is not like that. And in saying that, I want y'all to also understand that a lot of these black women, they don't get a lot of attention from these dudes, and they may think that they're not that attractive or whatever it is, right? And so they need the fucking engagement with these dudes. And I hate when they think they're teaching them something, or they're trying to, I don't know, break down some of the tension that is there, instead of just exposing examples of how fucked up and really shitty they are, and useless and just hopeless to black women. But you can't tell other people what to do. But in seeing all of this, I know that while that stuff happens a lot, what tends to happen is that the people who are suffering through mediocrity, right, they can't decide if they want to go forward, stay where they're at, or go backwards to something worse. When they keep seeing people giving these dudes chances, engaging with them, they start thinking, well, maybe it's not that bad. Or maybe he might be able to change. You know, a nigga might change. He might change. We don't want that kind of thought. We want them to honestly see the bad shit repeatedly, so that the message hits and stays. Like, they need to know that these dudes really want to come into your home because they want to take advantage of you sexually, your children, your animals. They want to use and abuse and do everything they can. Because if they did not want to do that, they would have everything they needed, and they would be set up in life before coming in contact with you. And since they never are prepared, and they never are functioning adults the way that they need to be, possessing and doing in life what they should at their chronological age, it screams and shows you in your face that they are there to exploit and be an opportunist. And all of that has a negative impact on you, your children, and your household. And black women, let me tell you, lifelong effects. You may make one simple mistake, and it will really rip a hole in your life, the connection and communication, and the relationship with you and your children or family members for the rest of your life to come, by making one mistake of picking the wrong piece of shit black male to have in your life, or for you to feel like you need to be engaged with these dudes, period. And I speak from experience, because my mother, being a black woman that didn't have the highest self-esteem, after being exposed to drug addiction by my father, who returned from Vietnam, a heroin addict, right? After my dad died, she too became one of these black women that wanted to take chances on dating and felt like it was her gender role, which, please don't do that. Don't fall for gender roles. To have a man in the house and believe in all of these indoctrinated duties and tasks that women are supposed to perform just to be women. She brought dudes around us that she probably shouldn't have, right? One of those men ended up raping me when I was 13 and tried to rape my sister as well, but we had a neighbor who actually was very involved and was literally trying to break the door down to get in because of our screaming, which ended up making this guy run away. This guy had literally methodically planned this shit out. Stop bringing these dudes in your home. He roofied my mom for my mom to be so incapacitated that we had to literally call EMS to have her brought back. I mean, today is not as difficult as it was back then. Today you can just walk around with some Narcan in your bag, and when people are like somewhat OD'd or knocked out from really hard narcotics, that Narcan will bring them back to life really quickly, right? But back in the 70s, right, we didn't have Narcan to pull out our bag and shoot up somebody's nose. So we had to actually wait for the ambulance to come to do whatever they did with whatever shot they gave my mom to bring her back, to wake her up, and also to physically deal with me with all of the injuries and stuff that I received from this grown-ass man violating a little girl. So those type of things, even though I'm a different type of person, because I don't hold that against my mom, because my mother did not have a damn thing to do with that besides dealing with somebody that she shouldn't have. But because she does not read minds, and none of us do, he had on a mask for a very long time, because his entire goal was to get with this woman that had a whole bunch of little kids in her house after her husband and their father died. And he saw that as a major opportunity to get in there and fulfill all of his derelictions and sexual deviancies that he had for being attracted wrongfully to children. Okay? So all of these things play a role in how we communicate, deal with each other, the attachments we have with each other that either increase our support or reduce it. So the things I'm telling you today, take it seriously, because all of that shit affects us in subtle ways that make major fucking differences in our lives, our personalities, who we are, the things we accomplish in life, the things we don't, the courage we have, the lack of courage we don't have. It makes a huge difference. And a lot of it starts with how you feel about yourself. So if you see yourself as someone that is not as great or as worthy as somebody else just because of this, we need to work on that. And the fastest way to work on that is to remove yourself from the thing that offends you. And that's why I said, if you're on here and you see a lot of content creators where everybody has the same aesthetic and it's nothing but a light-skinned white woman, Hispanic, or other woman party, back off that. Back off that. And if you don't see a variety of a lot of dark ones or people that look like you in there as well, you know that's not a safe space. Back off that. Get something that does not offend you as much or is not as initially harsh, that does promote the same thing Chrissy talks about all the time: positive promotion of dark skin and brown skin women. All of that helps to increase your self-esteem, your self-confidence, and your whole like morale and temperament. Like these things psychologically have a major impact on you. So don't dismiss it. Think about it seriously. Take it seriously, because it is important. Okay. And because, like I said, there's going to be a lot of hardship and a lot of crisis coming within these next years, unless we get out and we vote out these Republicans and put in the Democrats, right? This country is going to try to make it hard for black women, especially because they understand that if we progress, our people progress as well. So if they want us to have nothing and fall completely into poverty and be totally destitute, it begins with us. Do not forget, they told you in Forbes magazine and in the New Yorker that they wanted us to be in this nation 50% unemployed by 2030 and completely destitute, having a zero income by 2050. Do not forget that. Those are the plans they have for us. So you have to understand what I'm saying to you and begin to take out things in your life that are not beneficial to you. And if coming on TikTok and listening to black males and other women, including light-skinned black women, trying to gear you towards struggle love, domestic violence, only making you feel like the only thing in life you deserve is to be beat down and in a relationship with a black male dusty who has no education, no employment, no adult skills, no degree, nothing to help you in the situation you're in with him, do not fall for that shit. Okay? Because they're trying to make us the fall guy for all these other motherfuckers to survive. Don't do it, okay? Do not. Because as times get hard, you're going to need a support system. And if somebody's constantly beating you down and making you think that you're not worth anything, you're less than zero, you will not have a support system, and you will just, be eaten up. And we don't need that to happen, because too many brown skin and dark skinned sisters are responsible for children. A lot of children in Black America, and we can't have y'all falling off, because then we lower the expectations and we increase the risk factors for those children. So we need you to be on point and be your star player in this game of life, so that we know that we have a future of young black women and young men who are going to be out here doing the damn thing. So we need you to put your helmet on and get in the game and get out there and do everything you're supposed to do to make the team win, so that everything is all right for the generations to come after and after and after and after and after. Okay? Do me a favor, please go on YouTube. Please go watch Chrissy's latest video. And she's basically talking about the same thing I'm talking about, which prompted me to do this video, because I noticed that whenever black women try to start centering themselves, talking about 4B, and getting rid of this fake indoctrinated loyalty to black males who are unproductive, helpless and hopeless when it comes to black women, and very toxic towards them, you have this insurgence of black women who are trying to fight this "we got to protect the black man" fight, and they will sacrifice as many black women and girls as possible, because they feel like you should not be free or allowed to live your best life if black males are suffering. So they will go out of their way to convince you that divesting or dating out, or what is that other term they use? I forget. I forget the terms, but if you pardon me, want anything more for yourself than other people think you should have, they come for you. They come gunning for you to try to put you back in your place. So don't fall for that, okay? Don't. And actually, during this time where people are trying to make it seem like all black women do is run around having abortions, being the worst women in the world, so promiscuous and the worst mothers, it's not the time to be getting into relationships. It's actually the time for you to have a huge distance and separation from black men and men period, right? Because of the fact that you have laws in every state that are taking away women's rights more and more every day. Don't forget about the abortion bans that work differently in each state, that are there to either put you in jail or have you bleed out and lose your life. Stop fucking around with the preciousness of your life. Take your life seriously and stop thinking that having a relationship with some useless fucking black male is going to make life wonderful for you on earth, because believe me, it's not. Okay? So when you see these black women trying to tell you that you should not be dating out, you're crazy for dating white men, Hispanic men, Asian men, whoever, you see that as a red flag and a manipulation strategy or tactic, because that is exactly what the fuck that is. When you hear them talking about how you're supposed to have community and come together with black men because we belong together and there would be no black children if you don't, that's a lie. That is to keep you downtrodden and in the same poverty they're in, because they don't want to see you win. But you, brown-skinned, dark-skinned woman with little black girls looking at you to pave the way, you have got to understand that you have to want to win. And if you want to win, you can't think about black men. You have to think about you, yourself only, and your children if you have them, and what is best for you and them. And you set up and start a plan, and you execute that plan until you reach your goal of doing what is best for you and your children. Please go watch that video, the last video on Chrissy's channel on YouTube, and pick your head up, keep your head up, and always know it ain't nobody else like you in this world. Love every part of you, from the hair follicle down to your toenails, and don't you ever let anybody tell you that you're not worth everything, because you most definitely are. You are all you need. Peace out. Have a good night. Be well, black women. Love that brown sugar. All right? Love that brown sugar. Bye, y'all.